Let's go. Invite us in, please. Oh, here she is. She's frozen though. Hey, Phoebe.
Hi, how's it
Hi.
going?
At last.
At
We hook
last.
up. Yeah. Thanks for doing this.
Of course. I'm freaking out. Thanks for having me.
And listen, and super thanks for doing the mix, doing my song. It was
Yeah.
really, really great version of it. And so I don't know if you've heard the whole album yet. You probably have you?
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm super impressed. I had such a good time just sifting through all the different instruments. We pitched your drums down quite a
Yeah.
lot and I thought we were being really revolutionary, but then hearing what everybody else did, I was just blown away. Like everybody's versions are so cool.
It was a funny thing because I didn't really know what anyone was going to do, because we gave everyone free reign. Um, but I did realize, I thought, people aren't going to know what the other people have done. So they hear them and think, oh, I could have gone crazier. Or I could have, you know,
Yeah, it's
but
super eclectic.
yeah,
It's
but
just such a cool collection of music. Like it almost sounds like the songs are from different places as well now, which is so
yeah,
funny because your record is so cohesive.
yeah,
Uh, yeah, it's so cool.
yeah. Well, thanks for doing it. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And whose idea was it? You changed the key. You,
Yeah, so that was Tony Berg, my producer. Is I play guitar, but I still don't know like my circle of fifths, and I don't know really how to read sheet music, and Tony kind of fills that gap for me.
yeah,
Um, and he was like, I have a wild idea where we just change the key in the chorus.
yeah.
Um, yeah, and it turned out great, and we just had so much fun. But one time when we were making one of my own records, he was like, he was like, "Well, you really have an opportunity here to change the key. Like you haven't left the key in the song at all." And
Yeah,
I was like, Tony, most people don't change the key in their songs.
yeah.
You know?
Why would you do that?
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah,
uh,
but sometimes it's cool.
exactly. Yeah. So, what's your day looking like? Where are you, first of all?
I'm in LA. You are too,
Are
right?
you? I'm in LA too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
beautiful
just,
day.
yeah. Have you got much on today?
No, not really. I mean, I'm sure you know the deal. Like a couple random internet
Yeah.
interviews or meetings and whatever, but filling
Yeah.
the days has been kind of hard. I've been walking my dog like 5 times a day.
Oh, there you go. Who's that?
This is Maxine. She's she's pretty tired,
Is
but
she is she a puppy?
yeah, she's a puppy. I had been looking for a rescue puppy pug for years, and finally one fell into my lap recently, and so that
Wow,
keeps me busy.
that's good.
Yeah. What about you? What do you got going on?
I've yeah, I've got quite a sort of full day today. I started off um, with I've just now watched an animatic of an animation film that I'm involved in, where I've written the music. It's a film called High in the Clouds, which is being made now in animation. So they put it all together And there's some bits that are kind of almost finished, but mainly it's just rough drawings. It's just so you can see the story and see
Right.
where the songs come in and see where it's a bit slow or it's a bit this. So I just watched that. That was really cool. And then I'm talking to Phoebe Bridges later. She's really cool, man. Have you heard of her?
No, no
Oh,
idea.
oh, she's good. So I'm talking to her. And then I'm going to talk to Josh Homme.
Awesome. Yeah, that version is
Yeah,
really, really cool.
so that'd be nice. And then I'm going over to a recording studio where I've been working with a young producer. You've probably heard of Andrew Watt.
Oh yeah, big fan.
Yeah, yeah, and I hadn't met him, but my manager said, you know, it'd be nice if you wanted to meet him. You know, just hang out, have a cup of tea or something. So I went over to his place, and we were just chatting. And then at one point, he just sort of looked at me kind of cutely and said, "I'd like to do a song with you." I thought, okay. So suddenly we're picking up guitars and then making a song, and I was on the drums, and so I'm going over there hopefully to finish off the thing we've been doing. And then my nephew is in town with his daughter, and I'm going out to dinner. Me and Nancy are going out to dinner with them later, so I've got a full day.
Yeah, you got a full, I mean, you've gotten a lot out of COVID. I don't know if you've felt I don't like has being stuck inside helped you make stuff, or has it stopped you from, it's like for me it just like I just stopped feeling inspired at all because the collective consciousness was so
Yeah.
stressful. But I don't know, it seems like you got a lot done.
Well, you know, I was kind of lucky because I got locked down with my daughter Mary and her family, her husband and their 4 kids. So that was kind of nice. I was locked down with my grandkids, and you know, I visit them or they visit me occasionally, but we don't live together. But in COVID, we did, you know, so that was nice for me. I loved it. And the UK government said you can go to work as long as you can't work from home. So I thought, this is good. I've got my recording studios 20 minutes away from where I live. So that allowed me to do that. So in actual fact, I felt a bit guilty admitting that I was actually having a good time. So many people weren't, you
Totally.
know,
Yeah.
but I was able to get over to the studio and do all these songs and finish up some stuff that I've been meaning to do. And then that ended up as the McCartney 3 album.
Yeah,
And
how
then
long has it been in the works for you? Like when was the first song tracked?
um, they were over the years.
Yeah.
Most of them were just from the last couple of years, where sometimes if I've got nothing on, I just like being in the studio. So I'll go in and I'll mess around, basically, you know.
Totally.
Yeah, and I enjoy that, you know, kind of. So I was able to do that, but then it meant that there were a few songs I'd messed around with and I got something on them, but I had to leave them. So then I'd say, okay, look, let's look at that one. Let's grab that one. Take a look at that.
Right.
So that became the thing of finishing up all these songs. And then there were one or two that I'd just written, like Seize the Day, that I'd just written that. So I kind of went in and recorded that. Well, it did mean that I could be very creative during lockdown, which was a big blessing.
Totally. Do you ever like write an entire song and then a couple years later you take another stab at it and everything about it changes? Like do you write half the lyrics one year and then 3 years later finish it, or once you finish something is it just kind of that's what it is?
No, you know, I like to think you can do it anyway. So that's how it happens with me. You know, sometimes it's the complete song, you got all the words and all the melody, and you can go in and record it. Sometimes, like you say, you've got an idea for the song, and you maybe got the first verse or something, but you haven't got a bridge, you haven't got a middle. So that's good to come back to it and think, oh, I better get serious here. I better make a bridge, you know. So that happens as well. And then sometimes I just make it up in the studio.
Wow,
And,
that's bold.
that's a bit more precarious, you know, because you can spend hours thinking, what should this word be, you know, or whatever. But yeah, I do it in a variety of ways. I like to mix it up.
I can't imagine doing that. I feel like my lyrics would be so bad if I was just going off the cuff.
Yeah,
It'd be like, you know, just like the worst rap battle ever would be.
it is a bit, I must say. Yeah. No, sometimes if I'm in that experimental mode, I did a record a few years ago called Fireman, which was it was really kind of like an underground record. We didn't say I was involved. We just called it The Fireman. And I did it with a friend of mine who was called Youth, who's a producer. And we just experimented. In the first couple of, we did it, I think we've done 3 Fireman records. And the first one was instrumental, kind of trance music. It was just that kind of vibe. Second one was a little bit more experimental, but the third one, he says to me, do you want to do a vocal? I said, well, I've got no words, you know. And he said, well, yeah, you know, yeah, go on, have a go. So I went out on the mic, and I'm then saying, okay, disclaimer, this could be the worst thing you've ever heard. This could be me totally crapping out, you know. But you have to just get courageous and just go on the mic and go, I'm sitting here and I'm talking to you, and this is what I'm going to do. It's like,
It's a hit. It's a
suddenly,
hit.
if you're
That's called
lucky,
for.
a little line comes out that means something, and you can build
Right.
on that. But it is a bit like walking a tightrope.
Yeah. Well, I guess that is, yeah, it's kind of what I do by myself, but
Yeah,
doing it in
yeah,
front of other people, you must have to have a lot of trust for like, don't
yeah,
embarrass me, don't look at me while I do this,
yeah.
you know.
Well, no, that's funny. I was just saying that to my Nancy the other day, that I had to work on something. There was a bit of thing where I needed a bit of melody and some words. And I said, you know, normally I'll find the furthest away closet in the house where no one's going to hear me, or an outbuilding, or anywhere, just the furthest, most remote bedroom, just so I don't feel anyone's listening to me. Because if I feel someone's listening, I'm always like very inhibited, you know, and thinking, God, they're going to think I'm terrible, you know, because when you're writing, you're goofing around, and it doesn't always just work till you find the line, and then you can write that down. But sometimes, so I like to be hidden away,
Yeah,
and
me too.
you know,
Have you ever accidentally plagiarized somebody? Like, have you ever come up with a melody or some words that are genius, and then you
yeah,
realize that you'd heard them on the radio or something?
yeah, I do that occasionally and try and check it out. Think, where is that from?
Yeah.
And if I can't think of it, then I think, okay. I remember talking to John Lennon once about that, and I'd done something that was a little bit like something else. He said, it's okay, it's a quote. You know,
Yeah.
you're quoting someone else, you know.
Right.
But the good thing about writing with John in the old days was, if he or I, like for instance, for me, if he would write a line that I would go, oh, no, wait a minute, that's from West Side Story, or that's a Bob Dylan song, or, and he would, oh yeah, okay. And similarly, he'd do it with me. You know, if I was going somewhere that was a little bit plagiarizing, and he'd say, isn't that so-and-so? So, oh yeah. So it was good because we could, you know, police each other on that.
Were you comfortable being embarrassed with each other? Like, could you write a bad line and know that he'd
Yeah,
be like, that sucks. Like, we can do better than that, or same
yeah.
with him?
No, yeah, that was one of the great things about him as a collaborator. You know, we we'd kind of known each other for a long time before we had any big success. Um, I I knew him when we were teenagers, and I'd been hitchhiking with him, and so we were like buddies, you know. We slept in the same bed in the little hotel and stuff, you know, so that you get to know people like that. So so if then when you were sitting down and writing, no, you could just say, "Nah, don't like that," and he could say, "No, no, 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 no." And in fact, nowadays, now that he's passed away, I will check my songs with him, as it were. You know, I'll write a line and go, "Oh my God, this is getting a bit sickly. Wait a minute, would I have got away with this with John?" And
Right.
his voice comes back, "No." They go, "Okay, I better." So you know, I think you're
That's so
always on
cool.
the lookout for. But yeah, no, we were very good at telling each other that didn't work. This doesn't work. So
Yeah.
let's change it. And that was a
Mhm.
nice thing. It's always great when you change it because often you get something better.
Oh, totally. Do you ever find that if you're really searching for a rhyme or another line to go along and it takes you forever,
Yeah,
when you finally find it, I feel like the initial thing that you were trying to rhyme it with is just it pales in comparison. Like
yeah,
it just doesn't even make sense anymore. The focal point of the song disappears into a way better song
yeah,
than the idea. I love that
yeah,
feeling.
yeah. No, I agree. Yeah. And sometimes you'll, like you say, be hung up on a line or on a thought, and it's just taking too long, and it's causing too much trouble. So you just get rid of it. Let's just go somewhere else, you know,
Yeah.
you know, and that's a nice feeling. We the one big time that happened with me and John writing was we were doing a song that turned out to be "Drive My Car," the Beatles song, "Baby, You Can Drive My Car."
Hmm.
But at first, I brought it in, and I had the rough melody, but it was like, "I can buy you diamond rings, I can get you anything," and it was like, and we were trying so hard to make something of it, but in the end, we just looked at each other. It was like, this isn't going to work. So I think we had a cup of tea, a little quick break, came back to it, and then just thought, no, we got to kind of go tongue in cheek, and it's it's about this girl who wants a driver, and you know, and then it flowed once we just got away from those golden rings.
Yeah. Do you have things that you do when you are stuck, like take a little walk or make a cup of tea or things that
Yeah,
work every
I think
time?
it is. Yeah, I think it's good if you can just to get away from it for a moment, bit of fresh air or something.
Yeah.
There's, I heard a story. There's a guy, Fats Domino, the old rock and roll player from New Orleans. He used to write with a guy called Bartholomew, I think it was, and they're sitting one day. They're trying to write this song, and it's going quite well, but they walk outside into the garden kind of thing, and there's a neighbor who's got quite a vicious dog. The dog starts barking at them, "Row, row, 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 row," and they kind of go, "Oh hell, get back in the house." And then it was like, "Baby, don't you let your dog bite me." That's like, "Yes, I mean I'm in love again. Baby, don't you let your dog bite me." It's like the best line in the song, but it came
Totally.
from them taking a break out in the garden.
I love stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
So how do you write? What's your ideal situation to write?
Um, yeah, it takes me at the least like 3 years to finish a song.
It
Um,
does?
well, yeah, because I feel like I'll write the whole thing and it's okay,
Yeah.
but I feel like the real test is if I make something and then I listen to it the way I listen to the music I love. If I'm not compelled to listen to it again after I write it, then it probably isn't that good.
Mm.
Um, so I think for me, I think like the phonetics and the form of the song, it's really hard to write the first time, but then after a while, it's like the way that my brain talks to itself, and I can write 10 versions after I write the first one. So just little things will change, and also the way that Tony and Ethan and I record, my producers, we take forever. We'll go in for a month, and then 2 years later we'll go in for another month and do weird couple days in between tours. And it's so fun because my favorite is the delete button. Like I love just making something and then realizing that you spent all day trying to get a drum tone, and then you cut the drums completely and it sounds way better. So I feel the same with writing. It's like that.
Yeah. It's good. When you were asked to do this, how was it put to you? It's like Paul McCartney would like you to do a mix, or like you to do a vocal. What was your brief?
Yeah, my brief was like, some people are doing remixes, and I was like, well, I definitely can't do that. And then I was like, I'll just do a cover. And then they said, well, we'll send you all the tracks and you can do whatever you want. And I was like, what a awesome gift. We just had such a great time sifting through stuff and changing the key, and we recorded mellotron strings and horns, and we pitched them down too. Now it just kind of sounds like, in a good way, I hope, but it definitely, when I was listening to it today, I was like, wow, this feels like drowning. Like all the instrumentation is so low. But yeah, I guess that's the only way I would ever really remix something, is if I could add things, because I'm horrible in Logic.
Yeah. No, I was glad actually that everyone felt very free to do what made them comfortable, either a remix or a re-sing or whatever. And I think the other thing that helped, strangely again, was lockdown.
Totally.
Because people were getting this project, an offer, and it was during lockdown, so it was like, yeah, well, what else can we do? We might as well. So everyone had the freedom to get creative, which was nice.
Yeah, we had a blast. Yeah, we spent a couple days and just, like I said, throwing stuff at the wall, deleting it, trying it again, putting stuff back. It's my favorite way to work. I feel like I'm going to have a really hard time adjusting back to non-lockdown time, when you actually have to make a plan for when to go into the studio and make something.
Oh yeah, it was kind of strange coming and watching this movie I watched today with people, like with real people. And it's so strange because it's like, are we going to do the fist bump? Are we going to do the elbow? We're going to actually shake hands? We're going to put our masks on or off or whatever. It's strange, re-entering the world, actually talking to people in a room.
How have your fan interactions been this year? Like, do people recognize you in a mask? Do people feel compelled to like come up to you, or is it more reserved?
No, they don't recognize me. They don't recognize me. So yeah. I must say that's another advantage, really.
Kind of nice.
If you want to go shopping, and people coming up to me, I sometimes say to them, look, I'm a guy. I have trouble shopping anyway. I've no idea what I'm looking for. So please, but with the mask, it's like they don't know it's me.
Yeah, there are some things that are going to be hard to go back to, especially the people immediately hugging you. Like I'm kind of an awkward physical person, so yeah. I love the elbow. It's
that's
great.
Like my wife Nancy. She's never been that keen. She's not like totally germophobic, but she's aware that you can catch germs off people. So, but I'm a hugger. So I'm like, hey, hello, there goes. So I kind of miss it, but she doesn't. She's saying, no, it's okay.
She must feel
the elbow.
She must feel so validated this year, just being like, see what happens when you touch
right.
people too much.
All those germaphobes were right. Yeah,
they were right. Yeah, totally. Hide forever. Never talk to people or touch them.
Yeah. What's your doggy's name?
This is Maxine.
Hey.
She always looks like this. She looks like a little troll.
Hey, Maxie, you're on live global Instagram.
She doesn't know. She doesn't care
Yeah,
who. She doesn't care about the Beatles. Look at her.
yeah.
She's like, who's that?
You being said hello to from Argentina.
Oh
Hey,
yeah.
hey, listen, Phoebe, and little doggy. I've got to go now. So thanks very much for doing the
Thank
track.
you.
I love the track. It's really, it's great. And so thanks for being on the album and taking part. And thanks for doing this interview.
Thanks. I love the record. Yeah.
Oh, great.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, babe. Lots of
Have a
love.
great day. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Done. Wait, I'm trying to.